Salutations, dear viewers. This is George from Ireland. In this video, I'm going to explain why the United Kingdom should not hold another referendum on Brexit right now. Nigel Farage has changed his tune. He previously said, one referendum, this ain't the best of three, because immediately after the Leave side won, many Remainers were saying, we won't accept it, you must have another one, just because they couldn't abide the result. I'm a Leaver, and I didn't believe that we're going to win. Things this good just don't happen. Well, it did. Anyhow, Farage is really off his rocker. He's someone for whom I used to have an awful lot of time. He's been lucky enough to meet me on at least 4 occasions. But in recent years, he started race baiting, making very loaded remarks about Romanians, indulging in Islamophobic discourse. I concur with him on leaving the European Union. Doesn't mean I need to agree with him on anything else. And he's gone a bit too far on what restrictions there should be on immigrants and so on. But anyway, he's wrong on this one for several reasons. Referenda are supposed to be a once-off on that particular issue. Now, there was a referendum on the United Kingdom's relationship with other European countries before. That was 1975. That was a post-factum referendum on joining the European Economic Community, as it then was, which has since metamorphosed into the European Union. So, arguably, another referendum it was called for, not simply because it was 41 years on, but also because the EEC and the EU are not the same thing, not the same structure, and it was not however many member states. It wasn't 9 member states anymore, it was 27. So referenda should not be revisited in the short term. I'm not absolutely against another referendum so long as there's a reasonable lapse of time, something like 20 years. Look at Scotland, its position within the United Kingdom. Scotland has voted on her relationship with the rest of the UK thrice in recent decades. 1979, if I got that right, that March referendum, 1997, and then again 2014. Admittedly, it wasn't the same question each time. Other things, what if the Remain side wins? Does that cancel out the previous result? Or would Leavers then say, we're going to have a third referendum? Why stop at 2? Should it be 3 or 4 or 5? One of the major complaints about this whole referendum situation or Brexit is uncertainty. People aren't sure what's happening. They say that's bad for business confidence and investment and so forth. That's one of the reasons why I think the UK should hurry up and do it, leave the European Union just so it's all settled. And to have a third referendum, rather a second referendum, would simply prolong this doubt and all this wild speculation. Farage would also be doing what he's accused the EU of doing previously, not accepting the outcome. Look at, let's see, the Treaty of Maastricht, when the Danes voted against that in a referendum, and then they were forced to vote again, and there was massive EU propaganda, a lot of money poured into that campaign, and indeed the Europhiles won. Or, when the European Constitution was defeated, then there were some cosmetic changes, and several leading Eurocrats like, was it Romano Prodi, Andrea Merkel, and so on, said that it was 90% the same. And then that was passed as the Treaty of Lisbon. Republic of Ireland, we voted against the Treaty of Nice first time, then we're obliged to vote again, and it was passed. Likewise, we voted down the Treaty of Lisbon in a referendum, and again, we're forced to vote a second time, and the Euro fanatics won the second time. So it's wrong to make the UK vote again, especially as the Remain side had so many advantages, had far more funding, had almost every newspaper on their side, had much of the broadcast media on their side, had most politicians. Despite having so many huge advantages, the Remain side lost. And that's why the moral victory for the Leave side can scarcely be exaggerated. It will be a democratic deficit to do this again. The ordinary people have made their voice heard, and it would be wrong of the political class, whom Farage often disparages, to be allowed to force the public to vote a second time. So Farage, I wonder if he's just enjoying being a gadfly now and being a provocateur, saying all sorts of ridiculous stuff. I really hope it doesn't happen. Fortunately, Theresa May said full steam ahead for leaving the European Union. Admittedly, she's going to do it quite gradually. So I don't think another referendum will be held. The UK should go on and leave. It's meant to be leaving forever. Now, in political terms, what does forever even mean? As Badgett said, no parliament can bind its successors. Any act that's done could be undone in decades to come. I think the United Kingdom should leave permanently, but in generations or to come, people may change their mind. The situation could be radically dissimilar. So it would be absurd to try and prejudge what's going to be happening a century from now. So as things stand, I oppose a second referendum, and I want to just get on and leave and have it settled.